Great. Okay. So yeah, try not to take up too much of your time, but first wanted to see if you could tell me a little bit about your background and your experience at MMA. So yeah, so how you came to attend MMA.
Well, I'm from a town called Irapuato. That's where I was born, and I met a good friend of mine who was attending MMA at the time. This is in '95. I saw him literally in a stop sign, and I was like with a dress uniform on. I think he was coming. I think he was coming from furlough. I think, and so I told him. I asked him, and he gave me the info. And so I just, I found out the info, and I told my parents I wanted to go, and that's how everything started. So it's because I saw my good friend Garduño, his class of '96, and a stop sign, and I got the info from him. That's how I got to MMA.
That's wonderful. So how old were you when you first started?
I was 13. I was 13. I was supposed to be in eighth grade, but it was a funny situation that when I fill out all the paperwork, when my parents filled out the paperwork, they put ninth grade. So when I showed up there, I started ninth grade. So I never did eighth grade.
So thank you, MMA, for
Yeah,
advancing your education.
yeah,
Hopefully it was, yeah, I'm sure you must have done fine.
yes. I was not that big. I was not a good student, but I tried and I passed, so that was good.
So, so so you stayed through graduation? Were you there through high school graduation?
Yes, I was there all through high school, 4 years. I graduated. I'm class of '99, and I had the best time at MMA. My as usual, the freshman year it's a little bit tough, and but it was I knew it was part of the deal. So, but other than that, it was a great experience for me.
That's wonderful. That's awesome. So were you
Yes.
a little nervous going in as a freshman,
Well,
leaving home?
I was nervous because my dad never told me I was going. He At the beginning of the summer, I told him, and he said, "You're crazy of going to military school, blah blah blah." But I left all the info for him, and how it happened is at the end of the summer, he said, "We're going shopping for vacation to San Antonio, Texas." So we drove to San Antonio, and then he told me. I remember we went to Walmart, and then he was like, measuring a bunch of stuff, and he had this sheet of paper, and I didn't know what was going on. He's like, "Tomorrow, get up. I have a surprise for you." So he literally put me in the San Antonio airport by myself with my luggage and my airfare, and he said, "You wanted to go to military school. Here is everything. So somebody's going to be waiting for you in St. Louis, Missouri." So I just turned around and walked to the gate, and I just got on the plane, and that's how everything. So I was a little bit nervous because I literally, got by myself to MMA, and I was not mentally prepared for it, but it was great.
Oh, that's amazing. And he must have known you could do it. So yeah.
Well, yes. No, it's funny because 2 weeks later I called him and I was like, "Dad, this is too tough. I just want to go back home." And all he said is, "Do you wanted to go? Now you finish." And he hung up the phone on me. So I never called him back again.
I'm sure you didn't appreciate that at the time, but now looking back.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. At the time I was like, "Oh my God." But it was great. I don't regret it at all. So but I think that's how it has to be, building character. I think you have to be put in certain uncomfortable positions in order to build character, because I think if everything is given, if your parents are there always to support and always to take care of you, they're not, for me, they're not preparing you for life. You need to, when you grow up, is you versus the world in a way, and your parents are not always going to be there. So I'm glad that he did that.
That's wonderful. Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
we are too. So, So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about your time at MMA. And I've spoken with the Raynards. They're of course so proud of you. But
Yeah.
yeah, could you tell me a little bit about kind of what things you were involved in, and then how music played a part in that?
Well, actually, my freshman year, it was I was not involved in that much. I was actually the only thing I was involved was in tours, so uh, that was fun. And but I was always in sports. But I was soccer, swimming, tennis. My freshman year, I did track, but tennis grabbed my attention more in my sophomore, junior, and senior year. And then I got into music through one of my friends there, Gonzalez, his class of '98, if I'm correct. And my sophomore year, I always had the drumstick. He lived right next to my room, so I used to go sneak in and play around with his drumsticks, and I could play pretty much every cadence. And he's like, you should join the band as a drummer, blah blah blah. So I did that my sophomore year. So I started the band in my sophomore year playing the drums, and still the sports, soccer, swimming, tennis, and I was involved. In M Club. I was involved. What else? What else I was involved? Oh, I can't remember that much, but it was I literally my sophomore year I was kind of like relaxed. Everything where I was really involved in everything was my junior and senior year, because as a leader you had to be involved with pretty much in anything that they ask you to do. So but I was glad that to be at the band. I was glad to met Colonel Rayner. He developed my music ear. Back then, I didn't know I could sing. My senior year, there was I think it was a Mother's Day or something like that. That every senior had to do something, and I said, "Well, I'll sing. I think I can yell pretty loud." So that was pretty much my first time at the gymtorium that I had to sing in front of an audience, and I sang two songs. I think it was Goo Goo Dolls. It was Iris by Goo Goo Dolls, and then it was With or Without You by U2. And yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it, but thanks to Colonel Rayner, it was developed my music. I took piano, trumpet, a lot of different instruments. Never got to one to become like good in one. And then, but that's where my music ear kind of like got a taste for it, and I since then I loved it.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious. So with Colonel Raynard, can you describe to me a little bit about what that experience with band and with him? How did he do that for you? Was there anything that you can kind of give examples of, or I'm just curious as to what kind of, or if you can make comparisons between, like kind of the education at MMA compared to what you think how it might be different than other places.
Well, the difference for me is a matter of I think it's a matter of that when you're at MMA in a boarding school, special MMA, you have only certain time to do. You have to have your band class. So, and I think for me, he was really encouraging in cheering me up about you have an ability of music. You can play the piano, and at the time I was like, come on, Coronel. I was like, I cannot play the piano. It's like just so his encouragement and me uh liking it has to do a lot. I think that in general, when you're starting to discover something new that you didn't know you like, I think a lot has to a big part is whoever is teaching you or coaching you. And I think for me he was a big inspiration in a way that he was really by the book, by the rules. And he said always homework. So for me it just came the I can do this, and I loved it. And so I think MMA compared to other schools, I mean, in MMA you were there the entire time, and you always want to do something with your time. I think as a freshman is different, because I think you want free time and you feel more more, to be honest, more alone. I think that's my experience, and talking to my other brothers, that's how I call them. You feel more alone, but I think it's part of the cycle. Your freshman year, you feel that you're there, but you're not there. You want to be, it's normal. But I think once you get more involved and you just want to be better, you want to say, um, if I'm gonna be here through my full years, I want to be a leader. I want to be able to, be an officer. You have to set your goals, and for that, it will help you in the future. You have to set your goals. A short term and long term. Short term, within 3 months I want this. In 6 months I want this. In a year I want this. And you have to work uh, day by day to achieve those goals. And in music or in sports or anything, in my music career, that's how it's always. You don't want to look at, oh, I want to be this in 10 years. Yeah, but to get to there, you have to be here and then here and there, here, steps. So I think for me that MMA helped me a lot in that way. Colonel Rayner, different teachers, different faculty members at the time. Um, a big one for me that it was fun because I never had him in any of my classes. Um, it was Lieutenant, I think it was Colonel Matthews. He was a history teacher, and I never had him, but every little interactions that I had with him, he always had a strong hand, but a positive strong hand. And I think that's a lot. That's a lot than when you have a faculty member that always is like talking a lot to you. Oh, come on. When they go straight to the point, for me that worked a lot better. And a lot of the faculty at the time that I was there, that's what I think that would build my character in a way, I think.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. So then tell me a little bit about your journey after you graduated. What happened next? Did you know, you started, Colonel Rayner helped you with that love of music. Did you know at that point kind of what the future might hold?
No, to be honest, music for me, that was it. I was like, oh, perfect. I was in the band. I was band commander, and that's it. At the time, I did nothing about the singing. Afterwards, I came back down to Mexico and I played professional soccer for a year and a half. I wanted to be a professional soccer player. Then my dad was not okay with that. So I went to Norwich University, and I was there through college. And then I came back to Mexico and played one more year of professional soccer, and I injured myself. So when I was 24, 25, I was in Mexico City and I went to a party, and that's when, a mariachi showed up and everybody's like, oh, you should sing. I know that you have a strong voice. Yeah, why not? So I started singing with mariachi, and I had like pretty much the entire party like listening to me. And I was like, huh. So I said, well, maybe, I should sing. So that's how I literally started singing. So that's when I moved to Los Angeles to take singing lessons. And I lived in the way back and forward in Santa Barbara and LA for 7 years, taking singing lessons and then meetings, and then stuff like that. That's pretty much what I did. So that's how I started my singing career, my music career.
That's amazing. It admire you for the passion to follow it, and also the discipline that it takes to go through and to pursue that. So
yeah,
that's wonderful. So tell me a little bit about where you're at now. What's happening with your career? What's happening with your life?
Well, right now I have a 10th-month-old baby, so I took I took some time off. I took almost 5 months off. To be honest, I was a little bit tired of traveling a lot. For a little bit, I've lost, I think in a singer, in a career, you come sometimes to this tricky part of it when you think or you feel like you lose passion for it. And that's what happened to me. I think I lost a little bit passion for singing. I was tired of traveling and, to be honest, being alone on the road a lot. and a lot of I'm not a Michael Bublé or stuff like that, but but even in my level, you travel a lot and you do feel a lot alone for a long time. So I said I just want to come home, so I cancel for 5 months everything. I just stay here, enjoy my wife, my family, and so right now I'm picking up again. I'm going to in September 2nd. I go and I sing South and North Carolina. Then I come down to Mexico, have a couple of shows, and then I go to Mexico, Missouri for homecoming, and then I do the show in Mexico, Missouri in October 17th, and then I come back down here, and then I go to Europe for 3 months, and so yeah, so I'm starting to pick up again, and feel where I feel, but yeah, it's hard. I love singing, but again, it's just sometimes it's just too much being by yourself on the road, and you just want to be like, you feel tired after a while. Yeah.
That's understandable. We're glad that
Yeah.
you're, yeah, have had a chance to catch your breath and enjoy your time with your family, and glad to be that will be part of your kind of return. So
Yeah.
so why coming to Mexico? Can you, yeah, we're very grateful for you giving back to MMA, but why did you want to do that?
Well, to be honest, I think well, I don't think I feel that that I just know that a lot of boarding schools, especially military schools, are having a tough time recruiting. I think we live in a society, and I'm going to sound a little bit tough in a way. Society, it's coming more of a uh, protecting children, which is fine. But I'm just saying their parents are more like, oh, military school, oh no, And I think your equivalent, as I was telling you earlier, your equivalent, your child, your son, for life. So, and so I always wanted to give something back to Mexico, to MMA, and just in general, because it is a big part of my life, and I will always be thankful for it, and that's why, and I just want to you know make even Mexico high school, because they're gonna be part of this show, and you know uh teaching them, this is important for you guys, to even when you don't think that it's important where you're at right now in high school, it can be it can be so important in the future. It creates your, how do you say, it builds who you are, and every single thing that you learn in high school can be handy in the future. So I think that's, for me, is more of that. Have all these high schoolers, all these cadets, see somebody that I was there, couple 25 years ago, and so that's a message that I kind of want to bring to them. That's for me, that's the most important thing, to tell them that it is important what you're learning right now, because even it might be handy in the future.
That's terrific. Can you tell me, what, for people who are thinking about attending the concert, what should they expect?
Well, they can expect, it's a blend of music. It's in Spanish, English, Italian, mostly English. It's because it's a how can I explain? I know the areas in the U.S. where, in the East, what they want to hear for the most part, Midwest, and on the West, I've seen in a lot of different places. So in the Midwest, they do love a lot more in English, and so they, a lot of Sinatra, a lot of some Elvis in a different style, pop classical, and then the blend also a couple songs in with the Mexico high school band and the MMA band as well. We're gonna do two songs, the choir. So we're gonna play around, and just pretty much that, a new ear for music. That is not just rap or reggaeton or classical or pop or it's a little blend of everything. So it's that, and pretty much that. And telling a couple stories, on stage. That's how I am. I have a couple stories that I want to tell. Some of the ex faculties there that I'm trying to get to come when I was there.
That's great. Terrific. Well, we are very
Yes.
excited. Is there anything that I haven't asked you that you'd like to share with people, either about your experience at MMA or what's coming up?
Well, no, I mean, no, I think that it's just pretty much that. I think it's what I've just been telling you. It's about giving back. I think if it's that's my goal, giving back to the community. I actually want to go to I think it was called First Christian Church, where I used to go. I want to go there, and so I used to go there and play around during Sundays. So it's they were always really nice to all the cadets, to me. So it's about of giving back. I think that the world is losing that, and no matter what nationality or what anything, I think we need more of that. Always give back to the community, to as much as you can. So that's my goal of giving back in a way.
That's great. Well, the community is going to be thrilled to have you. We're excited at MMA. So
Mm.
thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you in a few weeks.
Perfect. Thank you so much, and I'll see you there for homecoming.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.